Welcome back to Shane's Main Shop. And, well, in case you haven't guessed it, I'm at the front right-hand side of my truck. And I don't know what order this is posting, but if you saw probably the last video, I had to work on my son's truck. His brakes were froze up with the truck he just bought. And now, for some reason, this brake on this side is sticking. It got really hot, and I noticed when I was stopping here in the driveway, it was digging into the dirt. I usually park over here. I'm like, why is that? And then I just realized that the brake is sticking. So it's probably rust because I don't drive this truck a lot. It doesn't get a lot of miles each year. So I want to take this thing apart, and hopefully it's nothing major. It just needs to be cleaned up. But that's the problem when you have a vehicle that you don't use a lot. Then you end up having some other issues with rust and things like that. So we're going to get this apart and see what the issue may be. Broke all the lug nuts loose, and I've jacked it up so it's off the ground now. Hopefully you can see that, and you can see she is definitely sticking. That should be turning a lot easier. Yeah, we gotta get the tire off all the way and wheel, and then see why that brake is not releasing. So I got the tire and wheel off, and you can see, well, hopefully you can see that, you know, the pads are in great shape. They're fairly new. The rotors are new as well. There's no line or anything, no ridge, and they're nice and smooth. The calipers, I believe I had those put on new. Yeah, those are new as well. And of course, all these brake lines, and you can see this stuff is all new, just like a year or so ago. And it's just, I don't drive this truck much, so I'm guessing it's just got some rust down in here somewhere, and it's not returning. I can't imagine it's a bad line because they're new. So I'm going to just do some cleaning, some brake cleaner on here, some lubricant, clean things up. We do have a bleeder valve there, but again, I'm not having problems with that. Just having problems with the brake releasing. So sometimes, if you watch the other video of my son's truck, this spot right down here gets rusty, and that has to slide a little bit in there, and it's not allowed to if it gets too much rust buildup. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and clean this up and see if we can break it loose, because with the wheel off it now, I can't even turn it. I'd have to put a bar between a couple of these studs just to turn this thing, because it's just, it won't turn at all. So hopefully we can figure out what the problem is and let you know when we're done. So I've sprayed some brake cleaner and some other stuff, some rust loosener and stuff down inside here. Careful not to get it on my pads or my rotors. And I've wrapped on this, you know, trying to break it loose to see if it's just rust. And I have been putting, you want to be careful if you do this, but basically if I put this bar between two of these studs here like this, I can turn it now, but it's certainly not turning easy. And after doing all that and wrapping on it and trying to, you know, manipulate and clean out any rust, it doesn't look like there's as much as I thought there would be. There's got to be something else going on. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and remove the caliper. I got the wrench on here right now, and I got a bolt here. It's going to come off, and then one up here, and then this whole thing will slide off of the disc, and then we can do some more troubleshooting. So that's what we're doing next. Alright, so I got the caliper off, and I think I found the problem. I haven't done any real diagnosis yet. I just basically pulled it off, and the first thing I wanted to see is everything in good shape, and it looks like it is. The caliper, I'm going to put a clamp on here and see if I can return this easily to its home position. You know, if you were to put new pads on, and these pads you can see are still in great shape, so there's a lot of life still left in those. But right away I noticed these shims. This is where the bolt goes through and bolts it to the rest of the housing here. When you step on your brakes, this has to slide inside here a little bit. It's got to be able to move back and forth so it doesn't continually clamp onto your rotor. And I'm noticing that these are sticking out a different length. Now, this one here is the full finger, and this one here is a lot less, and I can't get it to move, like it's stuck. And if you look at this one, this little washer here, this one here is still in good shape. It's still recessed down in its housing where it belongs, and this one looks like it's out. Well, it doesn't look like it's out. It definitely is out, and it's stuck out too. Now it's just rubber, but it could just be something as simple as that. not allowing this thing to move freely, properly, the way it's supposed to. So we're going to get this all cleaned up, get these things freed up, get it back together, and hopefully that fixes my brake problem. Okay, so after doing a bunch of diagnostic testing, basically I made sure all these things are freed up, and those don't have to actually slide really. This is a rubber one over here. It's not causing a problem. What I did is I removed the pads and I put a block of a small piece of metal in here and a clamp to try to return this caliper cylinder all the way to its home position, and it will not budge. It's like stuck right there. So that tells me that most likely this is bad. Could be lines or something, but all of this is new, which is surprising that this is a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove it so there's nothing else stopping it. Try to force this back in with a clamp again. If it does not go, then I know pretty much without a shadow of a doubt that I need a new caliper. And when you push on these, I'm just using a clamp, just a C-clamp like this. Obviously this is out of the way because you want to push evenly and you want the clamp in the center, so you're pushing this back nice and even. You don't want to be pushing on one side like this because that'll just kitty corner and damage it anyways. But doing what I did, I could not get it to go in, so we're going to go ahead and remove it, which is just this one last bolt, the brake line, and try to return it one more time just to eliminate any issues in the lines that are not allowing the fluid to return. If it does not go back in, we will put a new one on. So that is the next step right now. I am, I pulled the old caliper off, which is right here. Put the new one on, and I was able to slide it right over the disc here without any trouble. So it looks like that was probably the problem. So I couldn't get the other one to return enough to get it back on after I got it off. And all you have to do to do that is remove this one brake line. And of course I removed these bolts earlier. Now the new one comes with new bolts. We'll just go ahead and we're tightening these up now, and then we're going to bleed it with the bleeder here, and we should be good to go. So we're just going to go ahead and just get this thing bolted up, and hopefully that solves our problem. So I got the caliper all back together. I got the line on, and what I did is I got my brother in the truck up here. There he is. Check out his channel, Finding Mark in Maine. He's been pumping the brake for me, and then I've been using the wrench just to crack this loose and get the air out of it. We're getting a solid flow of brake fluid, so we are good. And so what I'm going to have him do now is to make sure this is releasing. Right now I'm able to turn the wheel no problem, as you can see with my hand. So now I'm going to tell him to go ahead and push the brake. Alright, he's holding it and I cannot turn it. Alright, release. And now I can turn it by hand again. So the caliper was the issue in this situation, so we are all set. We're just going to go ahead and reassemble this. So it's a very easy fix you can do yourself. This was $39 at O'Reilly's, and I think they're on Amazon as well. If they are, I'll put a link in the description. And there's a core charge, of course, so I'll return the old one, get my $30 back, and we'll be good to go. Anyway, that's how you diagnose a simple problem, get it put back together, get it working so you can use your truck again. Thanks for swinging by Shane's Main Shop. Please like, subscribe, comment. Come back often for more videos. Have a great day.